to replace these UPVC door handles. This is normally a very straightforward job. You can simply take a measurement of your existing handles and find a replacement pair. However, in this example, I can't actually find the correct replacement set of handles, so we're going to have to drill the door. So normally you would take a measurement of where the spindle is for the handle and where the lock is and the two screws. This particular door handle is a type B, which means that the top screw is above the handle. You can get some door handles and the screw is below the handle, and that is a type A handle. So this particular one is type B. And normally what you do is you undo the two screws, remove both handles, screw on your new handles. But in this case, I have looked on several websites, I cannot find a direct replacement for these. So the spindle is correct, the lock is correct, and I'm pretty sure the bottom screw is correct, but we need to re-drill the top screw. And if you look at that, you can see that it is in bad condition. It has worn down considerably. These are normally made from zinc, and eventually the powder coating or the chrome coating, whatever they have on them, wears off over the years. So I've made sure that the door is open, and I'm just going to remove the two retaining screws. I do apologise for the mess outside. We're still tidying up from the tree collapsing in January, which wiped out the garage and damaged the conservatory. And as you can see, it's a lovely summer's day here in Dorwin, Lancashire. Once you've got the two retaining screws out, you can simply pull the handle off from the outside and from the inside. And the spindles actually come out with that as well. But you can see that these are not in great condition. In fact, there's not even any springs in those. So this is the replacement set that I bought, and I actually got these from Screwfix. I can't remember how much I paid for these, but I will put the price on the screen. Now, it's important when you fit these that the screws go on the inside of the property, obviously. You may be thinking that these come in left and right handed for whichever side of the door you were doing, but they don't. It simply flips over like that, and these are sprung, so you can use them in any direction, so you do not need a left or right handed pair. So these handles actually come in a set of two. You get two spindles in the pack, and it looks like three pairs of screws, which are all different lengths, and the handles, of course. Now, normally you would expect these to be in a box, but they don't actually come in a box, they just come packaged like so. The last time I fit a pair of these, it was about 20 years ago, and I did actually buy the handles again from Screwfix, but they came with a template for re-drilling the door. Now there are loads of different types available with different hole centres, but I couldn't actually find one this time, even though I looked on maybe 5 or 6 websites. So that's why we're going to re-drill the top hole. And before you do this, you really need to check that your lock is not in the way of where you're going to drill, because obviously you do not want to drill through your lock. So we need to get this top hole in the right position. So I'm going to put the handle on there where it needs to be, and I'm going to make sure that it is straight. And then once I've got it in the right position, I'm going to use a hinge sighting drill, and then I'm going to drill through that countersunk hole. That will give me a mark on the door where I need to drill the larger hole. So you can see that we've got the hole started just there. So that's the bit that I used initially. That is what is called a hinge drill, sometimes called a VIX bit, and that is spring loaded, and that will enable you to get a countersunk hole drilled directly in the centre. Now I've swapped over to a step drill bit. These work very well on UPVC. They are normally intended for use on metal, but they work great on UPVC. So we need that size of hole just up there now, which is 10 millimeters. So I'm now going to proceed to drill that. And as you can see, that was very quick and very easy. So we can now try the handle on there. It looks like the bottom hole is out slightly, so I'm just going to make that elongated using the step drill. And as you can see, that now fits perfectly. This is the external side of the door. I'm just going to elongate the bottom hole as I did on the other side. So I'm going to put the handle in position, assuming that we've got the Euro cylinder located in the lock, and then I'm going to get the handle so that it's straight, and then again I'm going to use the hinge sighting drill. And then I'll just check that, and I'm looking to make sure that the mark is central to where the old handle used to be, and that is pretty much bang on. It just needs to be a little bit to the left. So when I drill this, I'm just going to go a little bit to the left hand side, and then again I'll make this hole about 10 millimeters. So I can now take the handle, and as you can see, that now fits perfectly. Before we fit the new handle, we're just going to give that a clean. Obviously all this UPVC needs cleaning properly at some point, but that's another job. So we're going to choose one of the spindles which is the correct length. So we're going to get the handle that goes on the external side and ensure the handle is on the correct side. We're going to thread that onto the spindle and then locate that in the two holes and ensure that the lock goes in. Like so. That's the existing screw, and that is the closest screw that comes in the kit that is almost the same length. So we're going to use those two screws. So now we can take the inside handle, just align everything. If you're having problems getting this on at this point, it's probably because some of the holes are out slightly because of the spindle, which is stopping the movement of the handle up or down now. So if we take the spindle out, you'll notice that the handle goes on perfectly. So we're going to have to adjust the top and bottom holes slightly to enable the handle to fit with the spindle in. So I'll just pop the spindle back in, pop the handle on, and if you look at the bottom there, the hole just needs elongating a little bit more downwards, as does the top hole. So I'm just going to remove the handle. We'll then just take the step drill bit and we'll just elongate the hole downward. It's very, very easy to do this. These work exceptionally well on UPVC. Obviously you don't want to go too far down because you don't want to go past the handle itself. So we'll now just check that. And you can see that that fits perfectly. So again, we're going to put the outside one on. Then the inside handle. And then it's just a case of inserting the two screws and tightening those up. And this is one job where I'd never use an electric drill driver because you don't want to strip any of the threads. So sometimes you're better off just using a traditional screwdriver. So we can get them nice and tight. Obviously you don't want to go mad. So we can now close the door. Check that that works. If you are not certain that you are going to drill somewhere where there's no metal gearbox behind or lock, you have to remove the lock and check before drilling it, because the last thing you want to do is make a mess of your door. So that's one of the handles done, and I just need to replace the handles on this side.